Hi everyone, Esther here from Estherastrohealing. Thank you so much for tuning to my channel. Today's video I want to dedicate to Saturn. As all of you remember, Saturn enters last year sign Capricorn. And the Capricorn, it's very familiar to Saturn because the Capricorn represented by Saturn. A couple of things I want to mention about Saturn, which is really, really important for us to remember. You know, Saturn is the gas giant. And it's take really long time for Saturn to retrograde and get from one sign to another. It's about roughly about 2.5 years. So if you calculate every 28 years, we have opportunity to work on a certain sign every time when Saturn change. It's change as well relative to us as well. Saturn in natal chart represent energy of your tikkun, of your correction in a sense. Because when you see somebody's chart, according to Saturn, I can say many things about current life correction tikkun, according to previous life incarnation. And Saturn, extremely important planet. What is really Saturn? How for us to really to understand the Saturn? Saturn is the planet, really planet of restriction, planet of discipline. Saturn really came to help us to understand things on the righteous level, really on a truthful level. So if usually the first part of our life, Saturn giving us hard lessons in order for us to understand and learn, and then we can greatly benefit from Saturn as well. So when you look at Saturn really from Kabbalistic perspective, we can see that Saturn been given name Shabtai. And what is as well, Saturn represent Shabbat, Saturday. So this is the huge, because if you really think, what is the higher and the bigger than Shabbat? Nothing. It actually says that no holiday can overcome Shabbat. So every week we have Shabbat, we have Saturday, we have tremendous energy, opportunity to connect to our soul, to work on ourselves in order to activate the higher of selves inside of ourselves, right? So the Saturn really, a lot of astrologers try to make something from Saturn, like really scare people from Saturn. But if you really think, Saturn represents our best interest. It's like you decide to go to see a guru, and when you study from guru, you not question, you completely trust and understand. So Saturn is like a good teacher, good guru. He's giving you homework. He's required of you to really follow up, to be on time, to be truthful, not to manipulate other people. What you say, it's exactly what you think, your intention. So if you really think Saturn, it's one of the best planets we have, because if you really know how to work with Saturn, you can work on your tikkun. What is the tikkun? Your correction. It's one of the main things we can. Because according to Kabbalistic astrology, when you take a chart, two major things you need to look at the chart. It's number one, your south and north node, which is really important. It's represent where your soul came from, what's as well the life lessons. And Saturn is the grandfather, like a really caring, strict grandfather who really wants you to finish your tikkun, to work on yourself. And therefore, you need to really learn how to work with that. I will go through all 12 houses, because right now Saturn in Jupiter in full retrograde. So when they're in full retrograde, they actually losing the power in a sense. For us, they affecting us even more by being closer to us, because every time when planet retrograde, it's not just it's moving back, it's actually getting closer to us. So this is the great opportunity. Now, one thing we need to understand, last year Saturn moved from which sign? From Sagittarius. What is the Sagittarius? We were required for the last 2.5 years prior to Saturn moved to Capricorn to understand how to study, what is the spirituality, what school of thoughts we want to connect, right? So this is what the Sagittarius is mainly about. Now, as soon Saturn moved to Capricorn, it's different ball of game. It's pure karma. And it's only 1 in 28 years. So I don't want us to waste the time and opportunity until next April 29, 2022. This video is very, very relevant. So I really recommend for you to check your chart. You can stop my video right now, go to the link below. I provide the information where you can go and calculate, check your, according to Sidereal Babylonian system, not according to Western astrology, because we deal directly with the sky, really astronomy, what's really happening in the sky the moment of your birth. And many times the sign you think it's not necessary because it's lost 23 degrees. You remember one of my videos, and as well under my video, I have this information. So I wanted to go in and check what really you're rising according to sidereal system. And then according to the rising, we're going to check exactly where the Saturn right now until next April, and use opportunity for you to really take this seriously and really work on it, because it's on your will. Saturn has ability to give miracles. We always say this, Jupiter, Jupiter, it's really the planet always giving us so many blessings, more than we actually deserve many times. But Saturn only gives us what really deserves, and this is the best, because what is the difference between to win $1 million or actually to plan the business, to work hard, to overcome so many difficulties in order for you to make this $1 million, but through your own talents, through sleepless nights, through so many things you need to overcome. So it's a big difference, right? Not to underestimate definitely Jupiter. As we know, one thing is what I want to mention. I always compare Saturn and Jupiter to two schools of thoughts, of Hillel and Shammai. And those of you who are familiar, and if not, I do recommend for you to maybe Google and to check. It's really amazing. Those two big giants, tzaddikim, righteous souls, live at the same time. And they always have a discussion, interpretation of spirituality. And they had different school of thoughts, but they always have a same mission in order to help people to elevate the consciousness, right? And this is really good for us to remember that. Now, as you can see on the Shammai, on his forehead, you can see it's in Hebrew, it's called tefillin. Tefillin, which is men put every morning except Shabbat in order to pray. And there's a whole system about, a lot of books reading about. But the reason I brought this to your attention, because what men have here in the forehead, you see the square, this is actually Saturn. So we need to ask ourselves, how come Saturn being used every day, daily, plus Shabbat, in order for us to connect to real truth, to real consciousness, to pure of understanding of the creation. So Saturn is really amazing, and it's really, I recommend for us to connect to the Saturn, to his energy, and to understand Saturn purpose in our chart. And I'm going to discuss houses, and as well, each house represented by certain sign. So you can use this video as well, not just for the period of time until next April. You can actually check in your natal chart as well where the Saturn, what sign is represent, and then you can check what the house I'm going to talk, what sign as well. So you can check not just according to your rising right now where it is. You can check as well where the Saturn in your natal chart, and to understand better this energy. What else I wanted to tell you as well? What really important to remember about the Saturn energy in your chart, it's we are soul, before we return, each time we return to Malchut, to this dimension, we ask actually to return many times, because our soul so high and see no limitation when we're close to Creator, right, to collective consciousness. So when we are sent back again and again and again inside of our body, we forget what we knew. But with the energy of our natal chart, because our soul choose exactly the time, the moment of the birth, and as well family and a country we're born, in certain environment, social environment, emotional environment, and lack of things. It's exactly what's missing to our purpose, to our to complete our Tikkun process. So Saturn, one of the most important planets, I can't stress enough. So I hope you will benefit from this video and you will enjoy this information. Don't forget to subscribe and to put like only if you feel you benefit from this information. And I'm looking forward right now to connect to each of you through your rising sign. Let's Let's begin.
Dear Taurus, um, Saturn transit in your ninth house. It's a very, very important house. It's actually one of the luckiest house. So let's first understand what is really ninth house. Let me just remind you, then you have this opportunity to work on ninth house until next year, end of the April. But right now, Saturn and Jupiter in full retrograde. So this is one of the best times to really to use this opportunity and really to understand what is a particular house represent. In your case, it's ninth house. Now, just to remind you, Jupiter in your 10th house. I made video early this year, so I'm going to attach a link to it so you can check the Jupiter as well, which is really important. But right now, really, first, let's understand what is really ninth house represent. Nine house represent wisdom, philosophy, religious education, and mainly spirituality as well. It represent travel, other people, culture, relationship with different culture. It's represent learning, ethics. It's really, really important house for spirituality. So let's right now tune in and to really understand how it's going to affect you and what you should pay attention, right? Because of the higher teachings and inspiration, you could a little bit feel opposite thing, I would say. So let's understand why. You even may question your faith in your belief system, especially start last year. Because remember, it started last year, last December, when Jupiter and Saturn retrograde in different houses, right? So you remember it was like everyone was talking about, but we need to understand how the important because it's only once in 28 years we have opportunity through Saturn to work on on particular house. And remember what I said in the beginning of this video, Saturn really directly represent our Tikkun, our correction incarnation process. So you could adapt your fate temporary and you feel less optimistic in say how would you feel about certain group of people you used to connect to. It's almost like a time you need or you need to leave the uh, place of worship where you're at right now, or you actually need to earn to stay there from your perspective. So it's really you're gonna feel you're gonna go through certain challenge, which is the good thing to go through. You have to understand what really inspire you and what your true beliefs are. Yours beliefs are. So when you, so to say, go sleep on your own and wake up in the morning, really what you feel. You need to work on different type of blockages you have with your own connection with the creator, your confidence level as well, like a different level of confidence and how you stand in your own way on your by yourself when no one there, when you really need to face difficult situation. If you really believe in spirituality on your core level, not when it comes just to the teaching, really on a practical level. And it represents schools, it represents teachings, right? As I mentioned in the beginning, you could have some difficulties at first when if you study something or you took some courses, you will have a little bit hard time to maybe to connect and to adapt. And even elderly people who right now have a nine house in Saturn, they will decide suddenly to take some courses, which is very easy right now. We in internet, YouTube, you can study and you can literally finish, graduate from university in age 80, 90, right? So this is really amazing time we live right now with so many opportunities. And this is good time, like I said, to learn. And um, you know, this is the time for you really to use to understand what directions you want to take. You can experience delays or some blockage in traveling or have issue with the law actually, because don't forget, just remind you, the nine house does represent law as well in ancient astrology. So with regards to traveling, it's extremely important for you. I don't know where you in the world, but even on a small level, you can take your car, you can go to country, you can go, go your just find a way to go out. It's extremely important for you because it's going to be very healing for you. What else? It's really good house because don't forget another thing about nine house because it comes from energy of Sagittarius. It's really good time for you to learn how to restrict with your speech and how really to apply wisdom. inside of your speech, right? How really, because when you study and when you start to make the knowledge part of your system, when you speak, you can feel even the way how you speak, it's changed as well. So it's excellent house. And I do recommend for you guys to connect more and more to spirituality and to the wisdom and to understand through your own soul how you see things. This is what amazing about our time. Each of us can really to connect to our higher self, to the creator within ourselves. And this is when we really can find the real truth, which is belongs to us. But this is a general truth in universe, right? Law of universe. So it's really good for you to study what is the cause and effect, what is really sharing and giving, how really you can bring to the humanity, because it's nine house is the house of high spirituality. Okay, I hope this information will be in great service for you, and I wish you many, many, many blessings. Good luck, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.